Hello, you guys. Welcome back. Oh my gosh, that was seriously amazing. If you were here for Align by Design, I just feel like that was so inspiring. You guys had so many amazing questions. Yeah, that was just so good. I'm so excited for all the speakers today, and I'm really excited to get my chat almost out of the way so I can just relax and breathe it all in. And I can't wait to go look at my human design chart later and dive into everything that Amy was talking about. So thank you guys all for being here. Don't hesitate to let me know if you have any questions. Say hello if you're watching. I'm just gonna double check, make sure I can see all the comments. I'll just go on my phone real quick. Hello, hello, hello. So I am Tara Brunet, for those of you that don't know me, that are new here, that may have come from another speaker's audience. And today I'm going to be sharing with you how to have your cake and your dream body too. So for those of you guys that don't know me, I'm a manifestation teacher, but I really specialize in the area of dream body. So just a quick kind of background on my story is that I used to be 35 pounds heavier. I'm probably a lot closer to where I used to be right now because I'm pregnant. But I was a personal trainer and a nutritionist, and I was obsessed with weight loss. It was my whole life, and I suffered immensely from binge eating disorder and bulimia. And I spent 16 years just battling with my body, constant struggle. And I just couldn't, I finally got to a point where I had tried everything. I had gone to endless therapy. I had almost checked myself into an inpatient treatment center. It just got to a really bad place. And I finally got to the point where I just couldn't fathom dieting any longer. And I jumped all into intuitive eating. And intuitive eating is about really coming back to how we learned how we used to eat when we were little, where we had no judgments on food. All food was just neutral. There's no good food or bad food. There is just food. And it's about taking away the good, bad of food, and then learning to tune into your natural hunger signals, your cravings, really leaning into trust with your body. Inside the membership, if you end up wanting to rewatch the summit, all of the videos, everything will be inside the membership, which is a $40 a month subscription. I have a 10-day also intuitive eating. It says the video is paused, so I'm just going to double check that it's okay. All of the videos, everything will be, I think it's okay. That's weird. It's going, but it's not. Let me know if the video is okay. But I do have a 10-day intuitive eating challenge. Oh yeah, it is paused. Okay. Let me just wait here. Give me a hello if you're watching and if you have video. I think it's okay. But I do have a 10-day intuitive eating. I'm just gonna keep going. I don't have any comments though, so let me know. Video's okay. Okay, yeah, so that is inside the membership. So I'm not gonna dive really too deep into intuitive eating today, but if you want to explore that more, there's also a really great book called The Revolutionary what is it? Intuitive Eating, The Revolutionary Program That Works. I think that's what it's called. But so I jumped all in on intuitive eating and really just gave up dieting. But my body didn't really change that much at that point. In fact, I probably gained a little bit of weight. Then when I got really more into the manifestation world, I decided to apply all of the principles I've been using to manifest, because I was killing it at manifesting, to my body. And that was when I really saw a difference. I effortlessly lost 35 pounds. I honestly, without really even noticing. And I remember the day that I was because I had a mantra, I was I'm lean, toned, tiny, and 120 pounds. And I started at 155 pounds. I had spent all of my teen years, all of my 20s trying so hard to even get under 130. The one time I got under 130, I was doing Slim Fast, I was purging. It was just not a good time. I was starving myself basically. And I'll never forget like the day I was like randomly, because at this point I didn't have a scale anymore or weighed myself, and I was walking around Walmart and I just decided randomly to step on the scale, and I was 120 pounds, fully clothed in the middle of the day. And I was just like, what? And that's when I really knew that I had to start sharing and teaching these principles. So no dieting, no exercise routines. I actually worked out a lot less, and complete and total food freedom. And I've taught hundreds of women to do the same. So I really want you guys to recognize how powerful you are. You don't need to let food control you. You don't need to feel like a slave to the gym or a slave to like a diagnosis you may have. Your subconscious mind is the one and only thing that is determining your subconscious and your conscious mind that is determining your results. It's in charge of everything to do with your body. And it's actually perfect timing because at 9 a.m. with Lindsay, who is my hypnotherapist, she's gonna be talking about how to use your subconscious mind to manifest anything we want. Your subconscious is creating your hunger and fullness signals, your cravings, your metabolism, your digestion, your internal organs, your health, your immunity, important right now, your breathing rate, your sleep, your body fat, your energy, your results. So there's nothing external to your body that has power over you. It's all within you, and it's all subconscious programming that has been taken in from the time we were born and applied to the bodies that we have today. And when you gain control of your subconscious mind as well as your conscious thoughts, you gain control over your body and your results, regardless of where you're starting. Which is why I'm going to be placing like a bit of an emphasis on the subconscious and creating a new identity, which also pairs really perfectly with Chelsea Coleman, or LFG Babe, as you may know her, who's doing a talk on how to be the next level version of you, all about identity, at 12 o'clock Pacific time. So I feel like today just could not be more perfect. Everything just goes together so well. So every single one of you, no matter how much you've struggled with food, no matter where you've been in the past, no matter what you think is going on with your body, you have the ability to live in a body you absolutely love and feel incredible in. And there's no dieting required, I promise you. And if you feel a lot of resistance come up around that statement, that just means you have more subconscious work to go through, but that doesn't mean it isn't possible for you. And if you're dedicated in changing your thought patterns, you're going to see results. And please feel free to ask me any questions, and I'll come and answer them at the end as well. And sometimes I'll notice like old beliefs kind of crop in, and what's required like in terms of changing your body is harder than dieting in some ways, because instead of constantly thinking about like food and counting calories, it's about being vigilant around the thoughts you choose to think, the beliefs you subscribe to, being aware of the energy you're surrounding yourself with, how you're feeling, especially at the beginning. And once you change the neural pathways in your brain and rewire your beliefs, it really is natural and easy to live in your dream body for the rest of your life. And I never would have, like, if you guys know my history, like, I struggled so hard, like, never thought I could even be in this body while pregnant, let alone be in this body when I wasn't pregnant. And it's like, it's pretty incredible the power that our minds have. So the first thing I want you guys to do today is get really clear on your beliefs and your identity around your body and what you believe to be true in terms of reaching your dream body. So you can write these questions down, or I can post them in the membership after, but like just simply asking yourself, what do I believe I need to do to lose weight? And then what is my self-image around food and body right now? So like, who do you see yourself as when it comes to food and body? And I even noticed myself recently being like, oh, I'm pregnant, I'm just gonna gain a whole bunch of weight. And I was like changing my identity, instead of being this like fit, like toned pregnant person, which is totally a reality that is available to me. I was kind of, my thoughts and beliefs were going the other way, and that's okay. It's like, all you need to do is become aware of them, and you can become aware of them early on, which is great, or when you already are seeing the results manifest. There's always the opportunity to change. It doesn't matter where you're at, so don't be too hard on yourself. It's all good. And then what are the top 3 emotions that you feel when you think about your body? Because this is like your vibrational set point. So maybe your top 3 emotions are like strong, happy, like confident, or maybe it's like disgust, like discouragement, and like, what's another bad emotion? Like jealousy of other people's bodies or something. And that's really going to clearly show you where you're at. And then it's like really diving into what do you kind of want to be able to do to lose weight? Like what feels good? And this is kind of our goal. This is our manifestation of the manifesting dream body. What do you want your self-image to be? Like, how do you want to feel? And what do you want your top 3 emotions to be when you think about your body? And so perhaps right now you believe you must restrict to lose weight, cut out all the carbs, and exercise all the time. Maybe your identity is that you view yourself as a binge eater. Like I viewed myself as a binge eater, as someone who always would struggle with food, who had zero self-control, who would always be bigger. I was like the bigger sister. I always compared myself to my little sister, and that was my identity, and that continued to matter. It didn't matter that I exercised, I ran marathons, if I went with the scenario of me comparing myself to my sister. She had a 6-pack and ate McDonald's like every other day, and she would work out with me like occasionally, but she like didn't care about it. And I was like working out for hours and hours a day, counting every single calorie, all the things. And like, but it doesn't matter if your identity is not like your self-image, your identity is not matching up to where you want to be. You are fighting a losing battle. So it's so important to look at like, what is my self-image around my body? What is my identity? And then on the other hand, what you want could be like total food freedom, someone who eats like a naturally thin person, and your emotion is pride or confidence. And sometimes we all need a little something in between. So it can be helpful to create an identity around something that you can get behind at first and then start shifting towards it. So I couldn't really believe in total food freedom at the beginning. Like, I didn't really think that would be possible for me. But I could believe, like, if I listen to my hunger and fullness, I believe I could see results. Because if you actually spend a day, like, I have a course called Manifesting Dream Body, and one of the challenges, hi Anwar, that I put forth to the participants is to spend an entire day purely waiting until you're hungry to eat. And people are always so surprised at how rarely they actually get hungry. Like, we rarely feel true hunger. We eat because it's breakfast, we eat because it's snack, we eat because it's lunch. And all too often we're typically like, if you think about it in terms of like a glass of water you're not really hungry, so it's pretty much full. You just keep pouring more water in the glass that doesn't need to be filled. That's what we do with our stomachs because we aren't paying attention to our hunger and fullness signals. So once I recognized, like, I spent a day really being like, I'm gonna wait until I'm hungry to eat, and I was like shocked. Like, I think usually I'm like up in the morning and I would have like 600 calories of chia seed pudding and all this stuff, and then I would have a Quest protein bar. I ate healthy, but like I was eating a decent amount of calories, but I wasn't hungry. I didn't need it. And when I actually spent that day experimenting with my hunger, I remember it was like 2 o'clock, and then I had like a handful of blueberries, and I was like, this is so weird. And that's where a lot more work does come in, because it's not only about listening to your hunger and fullness, it's about learning to handle the emotions that are coming up, which is why we are eating typically a lot of the time, especially if you struggle with binge eating. There's something deeper going on, and there's emotions to look at. And I mean, Amy really touched on that as well. And that is like the unsexy work of manifesting your dream body, is feeling the feelings, addressing what's not going well in your life, and moving, like changing the bigger things in your life. Like, I had to end relationships, I had to start a business, I had to like actually start living my dream life before my dream body came to pass, because I was sitting around waiting for my dream body to come. Not waiting, trying everything I could so that I could start my life. And that was part of the problem, because I wasn't happy in the current life that I was at. And that's usually why we're overeating. So that's a bit of a side note, but choosing an identity that you can really get behind. So I believe, like, okay, if I honor my hunger and fullness, I think I could see results. Maybe instead of never binging again, I definitely didn't believe that was possible. And I can say that, like, I don't binge ever anymore, but maybe I could get behind like making my binges smaller, and that could lead to weight loss. And then instead of like feeling totally confident in my body, I don't even like my body at all right now, maybe I could come to a place of like neutral acceptance, or even just being open to finding more acceptance. And just a quick note on acceptance. Acceptance does not mean like, we view acceptance as a bad thing. We think acceptance means I'm giving up. If I accept my body where it is, it's never going to change. But really what happens when we find acceptance is we actually open ourselves up to new solutions and change. Because when we are hating our body, it's like we're trying to move through a brick wall. And we're literally not going to get anywhere. We're in so much resistance. But the minute you find acceptance is the minute that wall fades away and now you are free to move forward. So acceptance is not about giving up. Acceptance is just about eliminating all the negative emotions around your body so that you're no longer in resistance, you're no longer blocking yourself. So once you have your middle ground designed, I really want you to go all in on creating the identity and the self-image of this person. And this is what I do for a lot of things. I use this to manifest my 42K month in business. I use this to manifest my soulmate love story, my body, everything. And it's like about creating this identity and stepping into it as if you're like an actress or an actor. So some great questions to ask. It keeps saying that it's interrupted, but I hope it's okay. Are what does this person think about food and exercise? And just a word of caution, we're not trying to convince ourselves to turn into a health freak. This isn't, manifesting dream body is about total food freedom. It's not about like, I'm gonna manifest myself into being a health nut and never eating an Oreo again. No, it's actually about becoming that person that you want to be, someone who eats a burger and french fries and Oreos and wine and gets to be in the dream body. So how do they think about food and exercise? So for example, I really realized like I used to view burger and fries as like the devil. Like and then I looked at my sister, and this can be really helpful to like look at people in your life who are naturally thin. I asked my sister questions, and I asked my roommate, who's like a supermodel, but has never had an issue with food, certain questions like, what do you think about food? Or what do you think about the foods that you're craving? And the answers were so eye-opening. It's like, she was basically like, I don't even think about food. Like, it's when I'm hungry, I eat. If I'm not hungry, I won't eat. Like, and I'm like, well, what about when you're craving like something bad? She's like, well, I'll eat it. And like, it was just so like, it sounds so simple, but for a lot of us that have struggled with food or body for our entire lives, it is a little bit mind-blowing to hear like that someone could have just such a normal relationship with food. So what do they think about food and exercise? And this is like your ideal person, your self-image that you're creating. What do they believe? What do they feel? What do they do? And what are their habits? And then really think of this as like a mindset reset boot camp. So I just want you to get so clear on this person and adopt the self-image 100% of the time if you can. I mean, we're not aiming for perfection here, but from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. And I just really want you to become, and this is like at the beginning, it takes more work, and then it becomes natural and it becomes your identity, and you don't need to think about it anymore. It's like brushing your teeth. So there is a bit of work involved at the beginning, but then it does become natural. It does become second nature. And it's about becoming incredibly aware of your thoughts, immediately shifting them when one comes up that isn't in alignment with this new self-image. It's the same with your actions, your beliefs, your emotions. Like, make it almost your full-time job of like, you're an actress stepping into the role of a lifetime where this is who you are now. Like, don't talk about the things that aren't in alignment with your new belief. Don't seek answers for things that aren't in alignment with this new version of you. Don't think thoughts that don't relate to this new self-image. And I'm being a bit strict here, but your identity emerges out of your habits. Like, you are not born with preset beliefs. Every belief, including those that you think about yourself, are learned and conditioned through experience. So your habits are how you embody your identity in like an actionable way. There's also obviously the energetic way as well. And so when you make your bed each day, you embody the identity of an organized person. When you write each day, you embody the identity of a writer. When you train each day, you embody the identity of an athlete. And the more you repeat a behavior, the more you reinforce the identity associated with that behavior. And in fact, the word, I looked this up, the word identity was originally derived from the Latin word essentitas, I don't know how to say it, which means being, and identidem, which means repeatedly. So your identity is literally your repeated beingness. I really love that. Your repeated beingness. And the more evidence you have for a belief, the more strongly you're going to believe it. And evidence will really, the fastest way to build evidence and really like supercharge your beliefs is to form habits. So as you repeat the actions associated with your new identity, the evidence accumulates and your self-image begins to change. And it's just like the process of building habits is just the process of becoming who you desire to be. Like, it doesn't need to be this dramatic shift. Like, we change bit by bit, day by day, habit by habit, but we're continually undergoing this change. So when you think about the habits you wish to create, start very, very small. I always recommend the 10-minute rule because I don't want you to go into a place of like, trying to go too hard too soon. I'm going to talk about the gray area as well. So instead of like jumping into somebody who runs marathons, maybe you just put on your runners in the morning and go for a 10-minute walk. Like, really build these small successful habits that are going to build momentum instead of jumping all the way into something so extreme that it's just going to have you crash and burn and feel like a failure. We want to build repeated successes instead of like big crashing and burning. And then when thinking about like your new self-image and the habits that he or she has, try and really chunk them down to small, 10 minutes or less. Start changing your life, start manifesting your dream body in 10 minutes or less a day. Commit to it and you will start to see it. So this is the work that really like creates miracles. And it's going all in on changing your self-image around food and body. And the power of this cannot be understated. Like I said, I had to change my self-image from someone who was a binge eater and would always struggle with food to someone who has total food freedom and eats whatever she wants. And this was like done by consistently coming back to a new version of me again and again and again. And if you mess up, you just come right back to it. Like, think of every moment that you are being this new version of you, you are manifesting your dream body. And let's talk about the gray area, because I am saying like I want you to go all in and really change the self-image, but I also want you to do this from like more of a gray area place. So it's like you're committed to going all in, but like things come up and you just keep going. And you're committed to this new version of you, but if you find yourself like berating your body for half the day, you come right back to your new identity as soon as you notice. And the more you build your awareness through things like meditation, journaling, just becoming aware of your thoughts, the faster you're going to notice these things. But the process of noticing and shifting is enough. It's not, you do not need to be perfect in this. So living in the gray area means like you do not make it mean anything when you veer off the path that you've chosen for yourself. So it just means continuing to take any step forward, regardless of if it's what you had planned or not. Like, it means just keep on keeping on, even if you feel a little bit lost. Like, accept where you are, do your best, and let that be enough. Let that be the success of manifesting your dream body. Because I have clients that are like, they are like on the verge. Their only thing blocking them from their dream body is the fact that they keep saying like, but I'm not in my dream body yet. Why haven't the results come yet? But like, they have changed every other aspect of self. They've changed all their thoughts. They're feeling amazing. They've come to acceptance. I'm like, literally the only thing holding you back is that you think there's something holding you back. So don't get too caught up in the current reality, because where we are currently is just a culmination of past thinking. It is not a reflection of your current thinking. Your current thinking is creating like the version of you a month from now or a few weeks from now or whatever. So really, it's about leaning into trust. And Amy also talked about trust. And there is this period of time where your body needs to catch up, and it's the same with any manifestation. It's like the universe is rearranging, like how Amy talked about her soulmate person. It was happening in the perfect timing. The universe was putting it all together, but she was in the vibration before it all happened. It's not like, thank God we don't manifest things instantly the moment we think about them, because it would be total chaos. And it's the exact same with your dream body. Like, you need to just continue to move forward in the messy middle period. And then the next step is to really let go of the old version of you. And this can be really hard. Like, there is a reason why we stay stuck, and there's a reason why we stay in these behaviors like binge eating or that sort of thing. We're getting a benefit from it. And like, you're choosing to stay where you are right now by consciously like subscribing to certain thoughts and beliefs. So you're getting some sort of benefit from staying where you are, whether it's attention, a reason to play small, a way to feel more safe, an excuse to keep keep yourself in your comfort zone, and there's a reason why you aren't allowing yourself to be in your dream body. And I know this was so true for me, and at first when I thought about this, I was like pissed off because I was like, I've been trying everything to be in my dream body. Like, what do you mean? Like, this is my fault. It's not my fault I have an eating disorder, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not saying it's your fault, but I'm saying it's your fault that you're still there if you're not working to like shift the beliefs and look at the stuff that is coming up and start making changes in your thoughts and your behaviors and your habits. So I really had to, the reason why I was bulimic, that was my excuse to stay small. I also struggle with anxiety. So I would have days where I would just cancel on clients. I would stay in bed all day and binge eat. And I would be like, but I'm bulimic. I have a binge eating disorder. I can't control this. And it did feel out of control. That was true. It was true for me at the time that it felt completely out of control, but I kept choosing that reality by continuing to tell that story. And it wasn't until I really had to let go of that old version of me and really look at like, why am I so scared? I was so scared of reaching my full potential. I needed that. Bulimia was my security blanket. It made me feel safe. I always had an excuse to miss out on things or stay home or whatever. So I want you to essentially really think about letting go of this old version of you, like you're a snake shedding its skin, leaving it behind. You're never going back. It's time to really, really let it go for good. And this can be emotional and scary and feel really vulnerable and like raw and like there's a reason we've hung on to this identity for so long. But if you're really ready to like commit to this new identity, you have to go all in. You can't have one foot in the old identity and one foot in the new. Like you can't see incredible effortless manifestation results that way. It's about like practicing the new identity. Oh, I'm so sorry. And shed the old one and replace it with the new one. And I mean, if it can be helpful to like write a goodbye letter to the old version of you, thank him or her for everything they've protected you from in the past. Thank them for doing the best that they could. Let them know that you don't need them anymore, that it's time for you to move forward into a new reality, but you no longer need them. I want you to think of this as like, I think this is the best analogy. Break up with the old version of you and make it a clean break. Don't text them and see how they're doing. Don't creep their social media. Don't sleep with them again one more time. Like we are never, ever, ever getting back together. Like this is an important part of the process and you may not be ready to like fully let go, and that's okay. And you can just like start the slow process, but when you fully let go of this old version of you and really, really make that clean break, that's when you see the effortless results. And this is how you know you may not be quite ready, is like you still find yourself talking about and identifying with the struggle, like you're still talking about that ex-boyfriend and getting attention about it. You still find yourself thinking about that this new identity isn't possible for you. That's because you haven't ended the relationship yet. So how can you create any space for a new magical relationship? You're still holding on to where you are because you don't trust yourself to be able to do it. And this is essentially like staying in an abusive relationship because you don't trust yourself to be on your own, or you don't feel worthy of something better. And let me tell you, like as someone who had to break up with someone great for something completely magical, not just in relationships, but also in my career. I used to be a personal trainer. I owned a gym. It was my dream for so long. I had to close down the gym to pursue my dream of being an online manifestation teacher. With my body, I was pretty good. Like I was doing well with intuitive eating, but it wasn't the magical weight loss and body I always wanted. It was so worth it every time to really break up with that old version of me and fully let them go. It's all available to you. It's all possible. And the only thing stopping you from having this magical life, magical body that you desire is the need to continue holding on to and coming back to the old one, because it's like that safe little security blanket. So break up with it. Let it go. So the next thing I really want to dive into is subconscious mind and reprogramming. And these two things have been the most impactful practices that I've ever used, especially in terms of dream body. Number one, you've probably all heard of these techniques. Number one is visualization, and number two, listening to affirmations as I fall asleep. So, or my favorite, really pairing them both together. And I do have like a detailed instruction thing inside the membership about how to create affirmations, record them. It's super easy. You can do them on your phone, add binaural beats. It freezes but comes back. Okay, we're all good, hopefully. Yeah, on my phone it says that it's not working. but so that's annoying, but oops. We'll just keep on keeping on. But yeah, you can record your affirmations. I also have like dream body mantras inside the membership, hypnosis, meditations. There's like 56 or something. I do a new one every single week. So there's lots of dream body ones inside the membership if you want some guided ones to try out. But every time I'm consistent with this practice, like things happen so fast. So I want you to create like a visualization of this new version of you, creating like a 10 to 20 second mind movie that signifies that you are this new version. So maybe it's like licking an ice cream cone in the sunshine while wearing a bikini and shorts, signifying you're in your dream body and enjoying all the food. Maybe it's seeing yourself in the mirror as you get dressed in the morning. Like this was actually my visualization, and it's so crazy because it also manifested into the house that we have now. But I used to visualize getting up out of bed and then going into my walk-in closet that then led into my bathroom, and getting ready in the walk-in closet, putting on my cute little workout clothes, like feeling so cute in the mirror. And now we literally have that setup of like my own walk-in closet and my own bathroom, and like I can put on my cute workout clothes, and it all manifests. Like visualization is so powerful. And a walk-in closet was something I wanted forever. And yeah, so I just want you to get all the senses involved, like sight, smell, taste, touch, emotions, feelings, and practice visualizing it as you fall asleep every night. And in terms of recording affirmations, your subconscious is most easily impressed in that sleepy, relaxed state. So having affirmations playing as you fall asleep is so powerful. I cannot believe that the things that have happened for me in the past, like what was it? Was it last month? A month before? I had my biggest month in business. I hit a 42K month, and it was really exciting. And I had recorded affirmations that were like, this is my biggest month of business yet. My financial reality is changing so drastically, and it literally changed so drastically. Like I had originally just wanted 10K in my bank account. I went from having like $3,000 of credit card debt to like dreaming of having like 10K just sitting in my checking account to having like $30,000 in my checking account, zero debt. Like it changed so drastically. Things can change so fast. So listening to affirmations as you fall asleep. I also have affirmations around like my pregnancy. I have affirmations around like having the easiest pregnancy ever. And I can confidently say I'm having the easiest pregnancy ever. Like I have had zero morning sickness. Like I've felt great. I've had good energy. I work out every single day, pretty much. I remember one time, like this wasn't the most recent one, but me and Trevor got super into playing chess against each other. This is like a funny story. And I wanted to beat him so bad. And I started listening to affirmations at night, and one of them was, I win every game of chess I play. And after like probably a week or so of listening to it, I won my first game of chess against Trevor. So literally you can put anything in there. I love making a mix. So my affirmations right now are around pregnancy, childbirth, exploding my business, like being in love, having so much fun, like just living my dream life. So yeah, I literally guarantee results with this method. So I would record a whole bunch of affirmations, put them to some nice calming binaural beats, and listen to them as you fall asleep. It's so powerful. I don't know if I want to say this in here because I don't want too many orders, but I do customized affirmation recordings, and those are in my store. So I'll leave that there. But when an old thought crops up or you feel doubt sinking in, this is just like, I'm kind of switching topics here, but I want you to pretend these thoughts are like an ember from a fire. So if you flick it away right away and turn your attention back to what feels good and what your new identity would think, no harm done, you're good to go. But if you let it dwell and you don't do anything with it, it's gonna burn a hole in your new sweater. So protect your new self-image, protect your thoughts, and like flick away the negative, just like until you start noticing it become more natural and second nature. And I don't want you to think of this as like a toxic positivity thing, but more so almost like a cleanse at the very beginning, a mindset cleanse. Like we're being strict because I want you to like jar your system into a new reality. I want you to be able to quantum leap into your dream body and this new way of being. And once you've kind of really stepped into this new version of you, if there are still things that continue to come up that you may feel need looking at. Like, I'll discuss how to do that right now. So it's like, let's do a little exercise. Like, I just want you to stop. We're just going to talk about bringing awareness to our thoughts and being able to shift thoughts from a neutral perspective while maintaining your new identity. So you don't need to call your ex-boyfriend to like fix and like get closure or whatever. Like, this is about, like, you don't have to go back into your old patterns of your not dream body. This is about like maintaining your dream body identity while also being able to look at whatever is coming up. So right now, if you stop and you take a few deep breaths, let's take 3 deep breaths. See if you can just become aware. What are the thoughts you are thinking? What are the feelings you're experiencing in your body? And are these in line with how you want to be? So I like to picture myself sitting on a beach and I'm nice and dry, sitting on the sand, and the water is my thoughts. And I can observe them neutrally and then I can choose again. So like, for example, this morning or yesterday, I was feeling really anxious about everything that's happening in the world. And I noticed my body was in so much stress and tension, and I sat and I just became aware. And instead of like being in all my thoughts, I observed them. I was like, I'm observing this thought going by. I'm observing this belief. I am noticing these sensations in my body, but I wasn't identifying with them. So you can notice like old limiting beliefs or things that aren't serving you and be neutral and removed, like detached from them without going back into that old identity. I can remain in my new identity of being in my dream body, and I can notice binge eating thoughts crop up, if this makes sense. So that's why it's not about like ignoring anything that comes up, but I want you to be able to look at it from a detached place of separation. You are not your thoughts. You are a soul, like a light. You are, what is the word that I'm trying to think? Like, you are the universe, like moving through, like using this human body as if it's like a vehicle, if that makes sense. So I love the analogy of how we use a car to get around, but we don't think we are the car. Like, we are separate from the car, and it's the same with our thoughts and our bodies. You are not your body, you are not your thoughts. And once you really get this, you will feel so unstoppable and powerful, because you always have the ability to move into awareness and consciousness and come back to like that soul level of you. And so when you ask yourself, like, am I aware? You zoom out your perspective and you start noticing everything from this like soul kind of perspective. You're becoming aware of the thoughts that are playing, just like the radio in the car and the body you are in, but those things are not you. You are what is conscious of them, if that makes sense. So when you notice negative repeating stories come up or old aspects of identity, instead of identifying with them and making them be you, you're going to look at them from this zoomed out perspective from your awareness. And just like with the beach analogy, it's like you're sitting on the beach, you're dry, you're untouched, and you're just getting curious about the thoughts and stories you're telling without actually getting in the water. If you start, how you know if you're in the water and identifying with the thoughts is if you start feeling very strong emotion, you'll know you're identifying with them again, and it's time to ask yourself, am I aware? And just observe. And it takes practice, but it's well worth it. And this is kind of a great meditation practice, is to just sit with yourself for 5 or 10 minutes and just ask yourself, am I aware? And just notice what you're aware of. Just be like, and at the beginning it can be helpful. Like, this is still kind of introducing thought, but like, okay, I'm aware of this sensation. I'm noticing this thought, but try and really create that detachment by saying, I'm noticing this thought. I'm observing this thought. I'm observing this emotion and this sensation in the body, not I am, or I am feeling it, or I am thinking this, if that makes sense. So from this place, you can look at the negative patterns coming up in your life from your conscious perspective, allowing it to be neutral and not actually like affect you as much. And you can heal You can heal your old relationship, your old ex-boyfriend relationship, without actually contacting your ex, bringing them back into your life, as that's inevitably going to lead to more issues and confusion and emotions. So the basic process of manifesting your dream body is to step into your new identity thoroughly. But if there are repeated thoughts and behaviors that are holding you back, you just want to look at them from this aware perspective. And you can do this with journaling, like sit with yourself, come into awareness, and just describe, like if you're having trouble with meditating, just describe what thoughts are coming up without identifying with them. I notice there's this thought, I'm observing this emotion in the body, I'm witnessing a trigger on this topic, and you're allowing them to be neutral. You are talking about them as if it's somebody else, creating that space. And then you can choose differently. And that is the process. Like that is always the process of manifestation, is becoming aware of what's coming up without overly identifying with it and making it mean a whole bunch of things. Like this is where we get into trouble, as we get all excited and we're all gung-ho, and we start making all these changes, and then we have an off day and we have negative thoughts, and then we start making that mean, oh my God, I'm having negative thoughts, I'm never gonna make this change, like we don't even realize this is really happening, like it's so unconscious and subconscious, but then we start creating all these reasons why we're gonna fail, and we start feeling more and more discouraged, when really it could have been the smallest little thing that happened in the morning that threw, like, I mean, a really good example of this is really when you're in the dieting mentality and you wake up in the morning, you're determined to like have a super healthy day that day, and then maybe you end up like eating a cookie, and then you make that one cookie mean that everything is ruined. So if it's ruined, I might as well just eat the entire box, and like, I'm just gonna start all over again tomorrow. And we do this again and again and again, and this is what we do with manifesting. This is what we do with our dream bodies. Whereas if we had just continued to stay in the new identity, come back to the new identity, it's like, it's not just like a one and done process. It is a again and again and again, consistently choosing your new identity every time you notice yourself falling out of it. And that is the work. And that is work. And it's not like super easy at the beginning, but it's so worth it. Like it's you could spend the rest of your life dieting and struggling and pushing and forcing and never really seeing the results you want, or you could spend like, I would say like a few weeks of being really consistent in your mindset and your new self-image, your identity, and you will start to see changes that then you can celebrate, that then bring on more momentum, that then bring on more changes. Like things will start to shift quite quickly. You might not be in your dream body in a few weeks, but you're gonna start seeing like, oh, I am viewing myself differently in the mirror. I'm actually wanting to like kind of work out and move more. I actually was able to push my food away when I was full. I didn't feel the need to overeat. I moved through my emotions without binge eating. Like you just start noticing these tiny like successes. Those aren't even tiny, those are big successes that start building and building. And the more you can notice them and celebrate them, the more they will continue to expand. And that is truly how it happened for me. I got out my journal when I really started this whole process, where I was like, I am gonna manifest my dream body. This is what I did. I got out my journal and I wrote out all the beliefs that I had. Like, I'm a binge eater. I'm always gonna struggle. I'm always gonna be overweight. I'm never gonna have control. This is gonna be with me forever. Like, I am never gonna recover from this. My dream body is impossible, yada, yada, yada. And I looked at them all. And then I started to reframe them into what I wanted to be true. And that's how I created my affirmations that I listen to every night. And I started visualizing every night. And I started being that version of me. I went and bought all new clothes that fit me, because somebody in her dream body is not putting on clothes that are too small for her every single day. I started working out just because I wanted to, just because in my dream body I move because movement feels good and I like getting outdoors. Whereas I used to be that person that was like, if I'm not in a gym and I'm not doing like a strict exact workout with like reps and counting and whatever timed, it doesn't count with my watch and my calories. And now I'm like, walk outside in nature, get outside and go I used to think like mountain biking, like, but I can't like track that. That's not a workout. Like, I used to have such obsessive rules. So I started being that version of me. I wore the clothes that felt really good, that made me feel like I was in my dream body. I started dating. I launched a business. I just started being the person that was already in her dream body. I noticed the thoughts that would come up and I would replace them with more positive thoughts. Like a mantra that I came back to again and again and again was like, I am perfectly imperfect. That always helped me come back to a more neutral, accepting place with my body. I stopped like trying to really change my body. I just started really embracing, like, if I'm in my dream body, I'm viewing food as neutral and I'm enjoying all food. I'm not overeating because there's no need to overeat. Like, I started really facing my emotions and like working through my emotions and feeling so much more powerful to be able to like experience my emotions without binge eating, because I also like I just experience I have anxiety, so or I occasionally struggle with anxiety. I don't know how I should say that, but and I learned that I'm so much more powerful than like the binge eating urges. And that was the process of like slowly, day by day, minute by minute, it started to shift. And before I knew it, I was like living with someone who I was completely in love with. I had owned my own gym. I was seeing huge success in my career, and I stepped on that scale that one day and I was 120 pounds and I was literally shocked. So I hope you guys enjoyed that chat. Lindsay is going to be on next, my hypnotherapist. So I'm going to hop off and meet her on Zoom. And I didn't see any questions. But if you guys do have questions later, I can always answer them inside the group. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you for the next speaker. Bye.